The streets were quiet that evening, the city bathed in the golden glow of streetlights. Special Agent Vanessa Carter, the FBI chief, had just left a high-profile security meeting at a government facility. She preferred to drive herself when she could. Years in law enforcement had made her appreciate the solitude of the open road. Dressed in business casual attire with her badge tucked safely in her bag, Vanessa was making her way home when she noticed flashing red and blue lights in her rearview mirror. She sighed and pulled over, wondering what the issue was. A white police officer, Officer Greg Thompson, stepped out of his squad car, adjusting his belt as he approached her window. His expression was firm, almost aggressive. He knocked on the glass. Vanessa rolled down her window, keeping both hands visible on the steering wheel. "Good evening, officer. Is there a problem?" she asked, her voice calm but firm. Thompson looked her over, his eyes narrowing. "License and registration," he demanded without answering her question. Vanessa raised an eyebrow. "May I ask why I'm being pulled over?" Thompson smirked. "You fit the description of someone we're looking for." Vanessa exhaled slowly. She had heard these words before. "And what description would that be?" Thompson ignored her question. "Step out of the vehicle." She stayed seated. "Officer, unless you have a valid reason for stopping me, I'd like to know why you're asking me to exit my car." Thompson's patience wore thin. "I said, step out of the car." His hand hovered over his holster, as if preparing to escalate the situation. Vanessa clenched her jaw. She knew she had every right to refuse, but she also knew how quickly situations like this could spiral out of control. With a slow nod, she grabbed her purse and stepped out. Thompson immediately reached for her arm, gripping it too tightly. "What are you doing in this neighborhood?" he demanded. Vanessa stared at him, holding back her frustration. "I work in this city, officer. I was on my way home." Thompson scoffed. "Yeah? Doing what? You don't look like you belong in this area." Vanessa took a deep breath. "Officer, I suggest you take a moment to think about what you're doing." He laughed. "Oh yeah? And why is that?" Without breaking eye contact, Vanessa reached into her bag and pulled out her leather badge holder. She flipped it open, revealing her credentials. The words were bold and clear. Federal Bureau of Investigation, Chief of Operations. Thompson's smirk vanished. His eyes darted between the badge and Vanessa's unwavering expression. He took a small step back, his face losing color. "You're the—" His voice trailed off. "Yes," Vanessa said coolly. "I run the FBI, and you just illegally detained me without cause, used excessive force, and profiled me for no reason other than the color of my skin." Thompson's hands began to shake. "Ma'am, I didn't realize—" "You didn't ask," she cut him off. "You assumed." By now, another patrol car had pulled up, its officers stepping out cautiously. One of them, Sergeant Davis, recognized Vanessa immediately and rushed over. "Chief Carter, is everything all right?" Vanessa crossed her arms. "Not really. Your officer here decided to harass and detain me without cause. I'd like to know if this is standard procedure in your department." Davis turned to Thompson, his face dark with anger. "You pulled over the FBI chief?" Thompson stammered. I didn't know." "That's the problem," Vanessa interrupted. "You never bothered to find out. You saw a black woman driving a nice car and decided I didn't belong." Davis clenched his jaw, then turned to Thompson. "Hand over your badge and gun. You're suspended, effective immediately." Thompson's face drained of color. "Wait, sir." "Now." Davis's voice was cold. Thompson hesitated but unbuckled his belt and placed his weapon and badge in Davis's outstretched hand. He glanced at Vanessa one last time, realizing that his career had just ended in a matter of minutes. Vanessa exhaled and looked at Davis. "I expect a full report on how your department handles situations like this." "Yes, ma'am," Davis said quickly. "I sincerely apologize for this." Vanessa nodded, then turned back to her car. Before getting in, she looked at Thompson one last time. "Next time, think before you act. You never know who you're dealing with." With that, she shut her door, started the engine, and drove away, leaving behind an officer who had just learned the hardest lesson of his life.